Chatting with Calgary's own Sara Quin from Tegan and Sara. You guys just released a new album, Love You to Death. Where are you calling from? Like, where are you living right now?
Well, that's a hard one to answer. I mean, I live in Vancouver. I moved back. I bought a place and moved back there this year, but I am spending a lot of my time in Los Angeles just because this is where we are mostly working right now. We made our record here. This is where we're doing, tour production and videos and that sort of thing. So I do spend quite a lot of time here.
Does Tegan live in Vancouver as well?
Yeah, Tegan's been in Vancouver since 1999. I spent about 13 years in Montreal, but have recently relocated back to Vancouver.
I think it's just almost assumed in a very naive sense that bands and artists always live together, but I'm assuming you don't, right?
No, we do not.
You probably need a little bit of a break.
No, I moved out when I was 19, and I have never lived with Tegan since then. I am 35. I spent the last 16 years on my own, and it's worked just fine for us. We don't write songs together. We work on the computer. We record into recording programs, and then we send the files to each other, and we do a lot of our collaborating in that very sort of modern way. Although that's almost the norm now for most people.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like being in recording studios and living together and all that stuff. It's sort of like the 70s and 80s or something. And then we sort of still think of people doing that, but it's actually financially so much easier now to just record at home, and you don't have to rent the studio and whatever. And so it's worked really well for us.
I just have to say too, I love you guys. I think years ago, when I Was a Fool came out, I loved Heartthrob. That album was amazing. I cut all my hair because I wanted to be exactly like you guys. So I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do really love you guys, but I've noticed that you've grown out your hair, so now I feel like I have to too.
Oh no, you just do you. I mean, I had short hair since 1998, so this has been a new thing for me to grow it back out and sort of have, longish hair. It's not, I just got it cut actually, so it's not as long as it was, but you keep doing you. Short hair's great.
Ah, yeah, thanks. We recently found out that Prince unfortunately passed away from an opioid overdose. And by looking at your Instagram account for Tegan and Sara, it seems like you guys were heavily influenced by his music.
It's interesting. He wasn't someone that I was drawn to as a young person. I grew up with, I was probably more of a David Bowie person.
Oh, yeah.
That was sort of, my parents' influence. But I discovered Prince late, I remember him on the radio, certain songs like Raspberry Beret or something, but
yeah.
I was like a teen angst kid, listening to Nirvana. Prince was a little bit too poppy or something for me. And, but I discovered the Prince catalog of music when I was, a young adult, and I immediately felt very drawn to his songwriting. And what was sort of interesting to me was that once I sort of started going through his music, I realized that he was a prolific songwriter, but so many people had covered his songs, and I was actually, probably without knowing it, a fan of his songwriting as early as, Sinead O'Connor's
right.
Nothing Compares to You, or Cyndi Lauper's When You Were Mine. Those were songs that I had grown up with and really, really liked, and so it was funny to then discover, Prince was responsible for that songwriting. So maybe I just wasn't that interested in his production as a young person, but it's been a crazy year to lose these two really iconic
absolutely
songwriters, but also people who are pushing the boundaries of gender identity and sexuality by they sort of set a new standard of what it meant to be to be masculine, and that was very informative and really revolutionary. So anyways, it's a sad year to lose both of them.
Yeah. Your new album, Love You to Death, it's coming out June 3rd. If someone loved, say, Heartthrob, is it kind of in the same vein, or have you changed things up a little bit?
I think if you liked Heartthrob, this is certainly an extension of that sound. We definitely continued in the vein of pop music and pop production. I think these are really strong songs, probably, in my opinion, stronger than the ones that were on Heartthrob. I think we sort of found our footing, and it was a very ambitious record cycle with Heartthrob. So we were out on the road for about 3 years, and I think just constantly hammering those songs, like singing them twice a day and performing, 6 or 7 nights in a row. Like, we just got really strong. And I think that this record really benefited from all of that. It feels like a very muscular collection of songs, and I think there'll be a lot for people to like when they hear the whole thing.
Awesome. And you're coming to the BMO Center in October. You're coming home, essentially. What are you excited about to come back to Calgary to?
Well, it's very interesting. Life as a cycle. I moved back to Vancouver this year after living out east for, over 15 years. A lot of my friends have done the same. So I went back to Vancouver, but a lot of my dearest, closest friends from growing up, they had scattered all over the world, and suddenly there's a big rush back to Calgary. So I actually get so excited, even though I haven't lived in Calgary since 1999. I get really excited now to go back to Calgary because it's like all the most important people in my life live there.
Is there a place that you have to go when you're in Calgary?
I mean, our friends laugh at us because it's like our memories of Calgary, like we sort of put, like it's like everything is just sort of like frozen in time. Like we'll come home and we'll be like, oh, we want to go to Peter's Drive-In and we want to go to, and they're like, there's other restaurants, right? And you're like a grown-up now, like you don't have to eat a cheeseburger and fries. But yeah, sometimes it's hard because I lived in Calgary from 1980 until 1999. So my point of reference is really, it's a bit off.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Now that all my friends are living there, the last few times that we've been, we actually have gone out and, had some really great meals. I know the Calgary food scene is just out of control. It's like some really stellar new places have opened, and it makes us proud. There's a lot of really excellent things happening, and we always look forward to coming back.
So excited to see you BMO Center in October. And I really thank you for taking the time to just chat with me this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you very much.